Right now, you can open a refrigerator packed with food, fresh fruit, cold drinks, meat, bread, desserts, and snacks. You can choose what sounds good, what fits your diet, or what satisfies a craving. Now imagine a world where none of that exists. No supermarkets, no farms, no restaurants, no food deliveries. 2 million years ago, ancient humans did not wake up wondering what they wanted to eat. They woke up wondering whether they would eat at all. And some of the foods that kept them alive would make most modern people feel sick just thinking about them. What ancient humans ate during famines was not simply unusual. It was often desperate, disturbing, and sometimes horrifying. But here is the mystery. When the animals disappeared, when the plants dried up, and when food scarcity lasted for weeks or even months, how did our ancestors survive? What prehistoric survival foods allowed them to avoid extinction? And how far would a human being go when hunger became stronger than comfort, stronger than fear, and perhaps even stronger than morality itself? To answer that question, we need to travel back into one of the harshest worlds our species has ever known. When most people imagine ancient humans, they picture successful hunters chasing large animals across open landscapes. That certainly happened, but it was not everyday life. Most hunts failed. Animals migrated, weather changed, droughts arrived, entire regions could suddenly become almost empty of food. For hunter-gatherers, survival depended on flexibility. When preferred foods disappeared, ancient humans were forced to eat things that nobody truly wanted. They dug through hard soil searching for roots. Many of these roots tasted bitter and contained very little nutrition, yet they provided enough energy to delay starvation. They stripped bark from trees and chewed fibrous plant material that modern people would barely consider food. They searched under rocks and inside rotting logs. There they found insects, beetle larvae, termites, ants, and other small creatures hidden beneath the ground. To us, that sounds disgusting, but insects contain valuable protein and fat. In times of famine, they were survival food. In fact, many scientists believe our prehistoric diet helped shape modern human behavior. The reason people naturally crave calorie-rich foods may be connected to millions of years of evolution. For most of human history, calories were precious. A brain that desired energy-dense food had a better chance of surviving. Even today, our bodies still carry traces of those ancient survival instincts, but conditions could become much worse. Imagine weeks of hunger. Imagine watching every edible plant disappear from the landscape. Imagine seeing no successful hunts for days. This is where ancient famine foods entered an even darker category: rotting meat. Most people today throw away food at the first sign of spoilage. Ancient humans often did not have that luxury. When predators killed an animal and abandoned the remains, starving humans sometimes approached what was left. The smell would have been terrible. The meat would not have been fresh. Yet hunger changes the way the brain evaluates risk. A starving person sees food differently than a comfortable person. Scientists believe early humans frequently scavenged carcasses left behind by stronger predators. They used simple stone tools to cut flesh and break bones. Inside those bones was marrow. Marrow is rich in fat and calories. During periods of extreme food scarcity, it could mean the difference between life and death. Think about that for a moment. A modern person might refuse such food without hesitation, but after days of starvation, many of our modern preferences would disappear. The body has one priority: stay alive. Here is a question for you. If you had not eaten for several days and your only options were rotting meat or certain death, what would you choose? Leave your answer in the comments. Many people believe they know what they would do. Very few have ever experienced the kind of hunger our ancestors faced. Yet even scavenging was not always enough. There were moments when famine became so severe that nearly every normal source of food vanished. And that brings us to the darkest possibility of all: cannibalism. Few subjects make people more uncomfortable. Yet archaeological evidence from multiple prehistoric sites suggests that some human groups may have consumed other humans during extreme crises. This topic remains controversial. Not every scientist agrees on every interpretation, but there is little doubt that cannibalism has appeared repeatedly throughout human history during periods of severe starvation. The important point is not shock value. The important point is understanding survival. Ancient humans were not monsters. They were people trapped in impossible circumstances. When every food source disappeared, the instinct to survive became overwhelmingly powerful. The human brain evolved for survival first. Everything else comes later. Modern society often assumes that morality remains constant under all conditions. History suggests otherwise. Extreme hunger can transform behavior in ways that comfortable people struggle to imagine. This uncomfortable reality reveals something important about our ancestors. The individuals who survived were not always the strongest. They were not always the fastest. Sometimes they were simply the most adaptable. Now comes the twist. Imagine taking a modern office worker, a college student, or an average person from today and dropping them into the world of 2 million years ago. Most would probably die within weeks, not because they are weak, not because they are unintelligent, but because they have never learned the brutal skills required for survival in that environment. No grocery stores, no refrigeration, no medicine, no safety net, just hunger, uncertainty, and the constant search for food. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine an ancient human walking into a modern supermarket. Rows of fruit, shelves filled with meat, entire aisles dedicated to snacks and sweets, clean drinking water available almost everywhere. To them, it might feel like entering the treasure vault of the gods. The things we consider ordinary would seem miraculous. The next time you open your refrigerator, pause for a moment. Every meal represents the success of countless generations who survived droughts, famines, predators, disease, and fear. Every bite exists because someone before you endured hardships that are difficult for us to imagine. Perhaps the greatest lesson from what ancient humans ate is not about hunger. It is about gratitude. The modern world is far from perfect, but compared with the daily struggle faced by our ancestors, most of us are living in conditions they would consider unimaginable luxury. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden stories of human survival, evolution, and history, consider subscribing to the channel, because sometimes the strangest truths about the past reveal the most important lessons about ourselves.